All right. So my name's Domenic. I have been on a spiritual journey for about 8 years now. I ended up trying to seek enlightenment through various means, and I also became an energy healer. I currently practice Reiki over at R3 Wellness. I hold discussion groups every other week to talk about awareness and, forgiving and letting things go. And what I wanted to come to talk to you today about was raising your vibration and the awakening process. And, for me, it's always been rather difficult coming out and speaking. I've had a lot of experiences, but I haven't been able to find, the right words of how to translate them. And so I haven't really had the courage to actually come out and speak. So today I plan on doing that. So I have to thank Greg and all of the speakers that have spoke here before. Watching you guys, it's been very inspiring, and I always think, man, I need to do that. But when, what, and do I have the courage to do that? And it wasn't until about 2 weeks ago I was sitting down eating breakfast before work one morning, and I went on YouTube, and I was looking up and I saw that Katy Perry had just put out a new video called Roar, and I love Katy Perry. Just anyway, I think she's got some really transformational stuff in her videos.
I love that new song.
Yeah, and the whole video is about coming out and having courage, and I was watching that and I was just like, yeah, you need to go and speak. And so this is my roar. So I'd like to start by sharing an experience that I had about 6 years ago. I was 19, and I was sitting in my college dorm room. I was just sitting on my bed one day, and out of nowhere, this energy came over me, and all of my thought processes stopped. I didn't know why or what it was, but it came so fast that my face immediately cringed because the energy was so pure, and tears began to pour from my face. I couldn't stop them, and I didn't know what this was, and I'm sitting there just with my hands over my face, and I'm just crying uncontrollably. And I'm thinking, what is going on? And I couldn't even think, and the only thoughts that were coming into my mind was just this loving energy was coming over me. And then, in, a flash, I understood that this energy was coming from Mary, the mother of Jesus. And I don't know how I knew, but it just came into my mind, and I knew that that's where it was coming, and I just couldn't control the tears, and I couldn't stop them, and I couldn't stop the experience. I tried, but it was just so overwhelming. And this lasted for about 10 minutes, and after which I just it all left, and I was just sitting there dumbstruck, what just happened to me? What did that really just happen? I had no reference for any of this. I wasn't particularly spiritual or anything like that, and so I just kind of dismissed it. And what am I supposed to do? Who am I going to walk up and tell my roommate, hey, guess what? Just crying my eyes out for 10 minutes. That's a little weird. So I just kind of dismissed it. And then a couple weeks later, I'm sitting down, eating dinner, just watching TV, normal, whatever day it was. And all of a sudden, this energy comes again. And all my thoughts stopped, and I heard this voice come into my mind as if from galaxies away, in the most loving, gentle voice I'd ever heard in my life, say, love is the secret to the universe. And with that, I lost it, and it's hard to talk about it, but I just completely lost it, and I was just crying uncontrollably for probably about 15 minutes this time. And once those words came in to my voice, I knew she was back, And these were her words that were coming into my mind. And I suddenly understood why everything was the way it was. In those moments, I understood it all. When the experience ended, I was I was almost like crippled. Like I just literally got up and just collapsed on my bed. And I didn't know what to do. And I couldn't really remember a lot of what happened. It was like during the experience, I understood everything. But when it left, I was just kind of left just shaking, and I couldn't really do anything. And, I had, like I said, I still had no reference for any of this, and I didn't know what was going on. So I just, again, I guess I kind of dismissed it again. But at the same time, I was asking, why is this happening to me? And are you really the Blessed Mother? Is this really you? I want to see you. Is this, I gotta know. And so I just kind of wrote it off and left it at that. I'm a college kid, that's not what college kids do. We go out and party and stuff, it's this is whoa. And then it was a couple months later. I lay down on my bed and I closed my eyes to go to sleep. And when I closed my eyes, my consciousness shot out of my body and through, I don't know if you want to call it a tunnel or a portal, just this tube of light. And all I could see was darkness, and there was this light at the end. And I must have gone through, it felt like I was speeding through millions of galaxies at a million miles an hour. I just can't even tell you how fast I was just going. I'm just seeing all these stars just fly by my consciousness, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? I didn't even have a chance to think before I realized. And I see this light at the end, and I was going so fast, and I'm like, I'm going to go through that. And I just blasted through it. And then I found myself in what I can only describe as a pure light realm, a pure light dimension. And I'm sitting there, I'm on this dimension like this with my hands over my face, just crying and weeping uncontrollably, and I couldn't stop it. And the only thing that could come into my mind was that I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to be here. I can't be in here. This is too much. This experience is too much. Why am I here? I don't belong here. And at the same time, I also realized that not only was I there, but I was watching myself from the side, crying on the ground. So I was in two places at once. And before I even had a chance to think about that happening, this even brighter light comes down from high, and it starts descending down, and I knew that this was the Blessed Mother, and she was coming to see me. And what could I do? I'm just standing there, I'm just with tears in my eyes. And as she's descending with her arms down, she finally comes to rest right in front of me. And I thought, this is real. And I ended up going right back through the tunnel and into my body, laying on the bed. And I opened my eyes, and while I was there, I was still aware of being in two places in that dimension, and also being here. I couldn't see those two places in that dimension, but I was aware of being there, and I felt connected to it through that tunnel. And I tried changing the thoughts. Am I going crazy? Is this nuts? What is this? Is this really happening? And I couldn't change the thought. I couldn't change it. I tried so hard. And before I had a chance to, really change it, I closed my eyes and I shot right back up to the tube. And now I'm aware of myself being in those two places, but now I'm perceiving from this dimension, and I could hear myself breathing in that one. And so I didn't have a chance to even think about this because it was happening so fast. She's standing in front of me with her arms outstretched, and she says to me in the same gentle, loving voice that I had heard before. She said to me, everything's going to be okay. And I just, with that, a huge sigh of relief just came over me. Like, it was finally, like, lifted. And I lowered my hands, and like a child reaching out for his mother, I just instinctively had to hug her. And I tried to hug her, and she told me, stop, you cannot touch me in this place. And I understood why she was protecting me. Because, and this is where we get into vibration, if I had touched her in that place, it would have hurt me. Because she was vibrating at a frequency that was much higher than my own. Like putting your hand on a light bulb that's been lit for hours, it'll burn you because it's vibrating at too high of a frequency. And so, when she told me that, she then took a step back and then started floating back upwards. And then both my consciousness merged, and I went back in through the tube and into my body. And I was no longer aware of being connected to that dimension. And I'm laying in my bed just dumbstruck. Like, what? Did that just happen? Like, did she really just come to me? I mean, I don't really have any particular, belief system. I mean, I prayed to her. I grew up Catholic, so I mean, we knew about her, but it wasn't like anything like, I wasn't like devoted to her or anything like that. And so, for her to come to me, I was just like, I didn't know what the heck. Well, now what? Now what? Like, what do you do with something like that? It just happened. I didn't try to make it happen. It just happened. And so I started researching. And I had been, searching for different things and different avenues. I got into, like, Wayne Dyer and manifestation and, The Secret. I don't know. You guys are familiar with those things. I really enjoyed those, like, learning about those things. But, I have a skeptical mind. And the skeptical mind in me says, all right, manifestation, really? Like, so I spent 4 years in college trying to disprove it. Because I figured, at least if I could disprove that manifestation is not real, then everything's fine. Everything keeps spinning, But if it isn't, well, then I might have some problems. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I was unable to disprove it. And some incredibly crazy things started happening when I tried manifesting things. I remember one day I walked out of my college apartment, and up at Penn State, it's like freezing, and the wind up there is just utterly ridiculous. And so it had snowed, and I'm walking through this snow, and my lips get chapped really easily, and I walked up the hill, and I was like, oh crap, I forgot my chapstick. I left it in there. I looked down, and there was a chapstick at my foot. And I was like, are you serious? No. Well, all right, that's just a little creepy. I didn't take it, so don't worry. I'm not going to pick up some strange chapstick that just appears, it could be a little dirty, those are just some of the crazy things that I found that started happening with manifesting. And, through learning manifesting, they always talk about, like, oh, you're supposed to set your intention and then, maybe spend, like, 10 to 15 minutes a day, maybe for, like, 30 days if you want to, like, create an intention. You want to create something you want to manifest. And, the way I kind of understood that was that, all right, well, if you're creating something for, 30 days, you're creating a vibration. If thought is vibration, then you're trying to make that thought more powerful, more impactful. And it's like, I kind of look at manifesting like you're putting an order out to the universe, and it's going to give you what you put into it. So, like, you create a thought, like you say, I want, like, a house, or I want good grades, or I want something. You just make that thought stronger and stronger and stronger, and it like spirals, and it kind of has that snowball effect. Makes that like bigger vibration, and the more you vibrate that frequency, the more it's attracted to you. So I thought, all right, that's good if you have the discipline to, spend 10 to 15 minutes every single day for 30 days. unfortunately, I don't have that discipline. So I was like, how can I manifest faster? How can I create that same snowball effect, quicker? So I thought, well, I had been given some CDs, and they were. Have any of you guys heard of hemispheric synchronization CDs?
Yeah.
Hemisync. Robert Monroe, he's one of the founders of this. It's like a technology. It took him like 10 years to develop, and he used it to basically develop a way of astral traveling. That was the original purpose of it. And so I had been given these CDs, and I had tried them. And you just lay down, and you put them on, and then they play these like tones in your ears, right? And like your brain like syncs up. It's like this really weird like synchronization of the hemispheres of your brain. And like once they sync up, your whole body starts to like vibrate, like really like it. At least that's how I experienced it. Like once that would sync up, my whole body started vibrating. Oh my god! Like wow! Like it's slow at first, and then like after you're meditating for a while, like the whole like your whole body just feels like it's just vibrating like a vibrator. Like and you're like, oh my god, is this happening? Like, am I on drugs? Like, what is this? What's happening? And the thing is, you're fully aware the whole time. Like, no, you're not getting out of your head. You're actually getting into it. And it was like, I had listened to these CDs, and for years I would just throw them on just because I love the vibration. I'm like, this feels great. Normal life kind of sucks compared to this. And, and I was just like, I want this. I want these high vibrations all the time. And so I thought, oh, maybe I can apply manifesting to this, because if it's the vibration of the thought that creates it, well, what if I'm vibrating at that higher frequency and then I put the thought out there? So you're creating the same vibration, but I'm just at the higher frequency. Wow, this scared the shit out of me. I'm gonna just say it, because I started doing these. I started listening to these CDs every night, and then I would set intentions, and oh my god, everything would just things would just pop. Like I said, the chapstick. I was walking home from a class one day, and I had all these books in my hands, and I got a huge book bag on, and I was just so dead, and I'm just like, oh, I really need someone to open the door for me today, and no one is ever at that door that I walk ever. It just doesn't happen. I'm walking, please, someone open the door, Bam! Some girl comes down and opens the door for me. It's one of my friends, and she said, here you go, Dom, I got it for you. And I'm like, all right, nah, you're freaking me out. And then it started getting even more freaky, because things that I didn't really want to manifest started happening. That was the freakier thing. It was just random things you would think about, and they'd happen. You'd be like, oh my god. And I'd see you think something, you drive down the road, you see it on a billboard, you're like, oh crap, are you kidding me? Or the car in front of it's got a sign on it that says exactly what you were thinking. Or you put up the thought, oh, I want to manifest a Ferrari, and someone comes up to you and hands you a Matchbox car of a Ferrari, and you're like, oh my. So I found that manifesting, it's the things come to you in ways that you don't always expect, and that was the crazy thing about it. And the things that sometimes things you didn't want come to you too, and that's they're oh crap, man, I gotta watch my thoughts. I gotta be careful. This is some powerful stuff right here. So yeah, it was an adventure. But I started using this I directed it in ways that would benefit my life, like getting good grades, or trying to do better in whatever, sports, or whatever. And I kind of went through a pattern in my life where I would, you're in college, so college party, every semester, at the beginning of the semester, I'd be drinking my face off. First half the semester, my grades would turn to crap, everything else in my life would turn to crap, and I'd be like, all right, I should probably get my act together. I am paying for this. So, I would stop the drinking, and I would notice that once I stopped drinking, everything started flowing a little bit better. I'd be like, maybe there's something to this. And so then I would start meditating, and then I tell you, every single semester I would flip my grades completely, halfway through. It happened every single semester for 8 years. I would just go from C's to A's, and just through manifesting, and I was just putting my intent and meditating and getting out of the drinking scene. So it was drinking turned my life to crap, meditation making my life awesome. I don't know which one you prefer. So finally it kind of came down, like after I was done college, I finally made a decision to stop drinking altogether. And I was like, they kind of came to me one day. I was just like, Dom, where do you want to go with your life? Like, which path do you want to take? Do you want to take the path of alcohol, or do you want to take the path of higher consciousness and raising your vibration? And I thought, well, this one makes me happy, and that one kind of turns my life to crap, so I might as well let's do this one and see how that turns out for a couple years, right? Like, for me, like, I felt like something was always missing, and, after having that one experience, that kind of completed, a part of me that was missing. But, I didn't have that. It wasn't something like in my everyday life. And so I had been searching, and one of the books that was given to me was the autobiography of a yogi. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of that, right? When I started reading that, I was like, oh, thank God. Someone finally is writing about people levitating, bilocating, leaving their bodies, and achieving enlightenment. I'm like, here we go. Now it finally rung true in my heart. I was like, this is what was missing. And that book was like a journey in itself for me. And a couple other books I found down the road that were really good was Journey of Souls by Michael Newton. I don't know how many of you guys have read that. That's a very good one. And even just listening to some of these things, they have them all on audiobook. So it's like you can listen to them if you're not prone to reading. But I found that, just reading or listening to any of these types of material, it's raising your vibration in that, just reading them. Because your consciousness is merging with the consciousness of the storyteller. So if they're enlightened, you're tapping into their consciousness when you're reading it. And I found that was a crazy book too, because when I was reading the autobiography, it took me 2 years. I'm a slow reader. Sorry. But it was like a journey in itself, and I would randomly stop reading that at certain points and then pick it up at other points. And when I do that, every single time, I'd have questions, and inevitably, I'd walk over and be like, I should pick up that book, and I'd pick it up, and right where I left off, there's the answer to my question. It would just happen so many times, and that was one of the things that led me into Kriya Yoga, which was it's like a transformational technique. Yoga means union, if you're wondering, and so there's 4 different paths of yoga. They have karma, bhakti, jnana yoga, and Kriya Yoga. So it's action yoga, which is karma. Bhakti is devotion, jnana is wisdom, and then Kriya is energy, so energetic yoga. So these are the 4 paths to union with spirit, and we all have all these paths in us, and it's just a matter of what suits you best. If you're devoted to a certain deity, that's a path. If you're seeking enlightenment through reading and trying to find, just going through everything you can find and trying to find the answers to life, that's a path. The energetic path is one that was more suitable to me. At least I was more drawn to it. And through this, I spent a lot of years learning and reading about chakras and how to raise your vibration. And so since we are at the raise your vibration ceremony thing and the awakening process, let's go into what's vibration. So everything in existence is vibrating. We're all vibrating. Everything is a frequency. And you guys remember, in science class, when they show you that picture of the light spectrum? It's the wavelengths, It's they have, the radio waves, and then the infrared, and then, the visible light spectrum. Then they have, the ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays, cosmic rays. And so, if you look at that spectrum, it's, slow-moving vibrations to faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And then they always... the visible light spectrum on there is always this tiny little dot on there, and then they blow it up. It's so this is what you're seeing. You're seeing this tiny little dot of that vibration, of that spectrum, right? So I thought, man, we're only perceiving that little tiny bit, and that's it. And if you look, if you were to take an infrared goggles, I don't know if you guys ever heard of those. You ever see Jurassic Park? They have night vision, right? So it's they show the heat signature of everything. So you're looking at the infrared spectrum. So you're seeing through that dimension. You're seeing into another dimension, basically, with those goggles. Or when you get X-rays, you're looking into another dimension. It's going through your skin and looking at your bone structure. So this is from my, I guess, research and experience. I found that it's like vibration for the human being. This is just my understanding of it, and I always say, take whatever I say with a grain, and whatever works for you, take it. Whatever doesn't, just throw it out, like discard it, and find research, like study, look for the stuff. I have a habit, or I had a habit in my, I guess, teens and most of my life of half-assing things, and so I get half-assed results. And so when I started going on like the spiritual journey, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to half-ass this. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it 100% and try and find out if this is correct and what things work and what things don't. And as long as I do it 100% and I'm true with myself, then those things that I find will be true, and the things that didn't work were not true. So I always say, if you're going to do something, do it 100% and give it your all if you're really passionate about it. So this is what I was passionate about, and so through that, one of the things that through some of my research and my own experiences, it seems to me like you have 3 bodies at least. I mean, they say that you have 5, but you have your physical body, your emotional body, and your mental body, and then you have your astral bodies and then your higher bodies. And so these bodies, they're all on different frequencies. So this physical body is the dense. This is this dimension. The 3rd dimension would be the dense physical reality that you're in right now. So you can hit it and it's fine. The 2nd dimension, or the 2nd subtle, the spirit body, is much more subtler. And the spirit body is what is in your physical body. It's inhabiting this body. So when you come into a human body, the spirit comes down and enters into the human body at a certain frequency, because the human body is vibrating at a certain frequency, the frequency of this dimension. So the spirit must maintain the frequency of this vibration throughout its entire life. And if it goes below this frequency, we call that death. That's death. You're leaving your body because your body can no longer hold the frequency of the 3rd dimension. It's too tired, it's worn out, whatever. If you go above that frequency, we call this ascension. So your body is now, your energetic body is now vibrating too fast that it can no longer hold on to the body, and you go into a higher dimension. So literally, the difference between this dimension and any other dimension is just how fast you're vibrating. I always look at life like an opportunity. It's a great chance for growth and learning. And experience, because after all, isn't that what it is? Life's an experience. Everything that we are is a collection of our experiences. So when we come in and we're born into a certain family and under certain conditions, and we grow and learn from those certain conditions. And what we're presented with is what we take in, and what we choose to take in when we're a child, whether we choose to take it or not. Those are our belief systems. Those are our either prejudices or however. It's what you were presented with when you came in. And so the process of awakening is removing those conditions that actually aren't yours, that you actually took on because that's what was presented to you. But the true self, the higher self, is really what you're trying to get to. And you're trying to raise that vibration. And so one of the things I wanted to discuss was, how do you do this? Like, how do you raise your vibration? How do you go into these other dimensions, or what the heck are you talking about? Other dimensions? Are you crazy? Yeah, a little bit, I guess. So, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I have experiences like that, and you got to translate it somehow. And so, I wanted to learn actually how to do that. And so, I did start studying and meditating, and through different meditations, you have different experiences, and we learn and grow through our experiences. And so, one of the things I would like to go into, and Greg kind of already went into the chakras. The chakra system, I'm going to give you just some of the research that I've learned from it. It's just a brief overview.
You only have 5 minutes
5
or
minutes.
so. Yeah, maybe 10.
Minutes. Maybe I won't. All right, so raising your vibrations through the chakras is a good way. Cleaning them out, as Greg was saying, and letting go of things that you don't need, attachments, etc. Your chakras, in my experience, hold all of your informations from past lives. Past lives, not really something I was taught right when I was raised. It wasn't like something that was brought up. It's something I read, learned, and experienced. Through healings, I started seeing other people's past lives. When I would do healings over them, I would tap into them, not on purpose. It would just happen. Like, they'd come up, put my hands over them, like, oh my God, I'm seeing your past life and the suffering that you went through. And you don't need that. So then I would heal it, and the tears would come out of their eyes, and then when they're done, they're just like blissed out of their mind. They're ecstatic. Like, they get off my table and they'd be ecstatic. Like, oh my God. Like, and so I even saw some of my own past lives and some of my experiences. And so raising your vibration, one of the things, since we're not going to go into the chakras, I would like to go into as your vibration raises, your awareness increases. So life is about awareness and perception of it, right? So one of the things that I started learning was about dreams. And dreams to me are a gateway into other dimensions of yourself. So you remember a dream that you have at night, right? You've then recalled information from another dimension. You brought it here. So the more you raise your vibration, the more aware you become in your dream state. The more dreams you start remembering. And the more dreams you start bringing back. And then when your awareness grows to a certain point, you start having lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is where you're in like a scenario, but you're in that dream state, but you're able to control it. And you're able to move around and do things and kind of direct it. And then bring that back to your waking life. The third stage would be when you're lucid dreaming, if your awareness is able, your full waking conscious awareness is able to penetrate a lucid dream, you then break out of that lucid dream and become out of your body. And when you're out of your body, you are completely free. And there is no word in the English language that can describe the liberation that you feel of not having a body. So when it happened to me the first time, I was ecstatic beyond measure. My dad came down and looked at me. He's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so great!" And I'm just like, I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. So why do this? So why do this? Why raise your vibration? Why try and access these dimensions? Why am I telling you all this? Why? Because I've experienced so much bliss in the other dimensions and within myself that it would be a crime not to share it. Like, even being here, the only reason I want to be here is so that I can share these experiences with you guys. And share it with everyone, because there's no reason that anyone can't experience it. If I could do it, the college drunk, anyone can do it. Like, there's no reason that you can't. So I say research, learn, meditate, raise your vibration. Food you eat also helps. Salad's good. It has silica in it. Helps raise your vibration. Certain things that lower your vibration would be meat. You're not going to like these things, but meat, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, those things obviously lower your vibration. Eating like healthy foods, drinking lots of water, detoxing, that raises your vibration. Getting Reiki treatments, that raises your vibration. Meditating. And one of the things that, this is going to be the last thing I say, the reason that I wanted to share this with you is because when you raise your vibration and you have all these experiences, you bring them back. And I like to think of the human being kind of like a light bulb with dirt on it. When you start cleaning off the dirt, the light shines brighter, and it affects everyone around them. And you start coming out of the warring hatred and violence mind and into the heart, the peace, the loving mind that wants to help create and share with the world. And that, to me, right now, in the state of the world as it is more important than any. Especially, with everything that's going on. How many wars are going on that don't need to be going on? Why? Why does this need to happen? And these questions I would ask myself, why is this happening? And I feel that the more we raise our vibration as a people, as a collective, the more we raise the frequency of the planet, the more we can touch the hearts and minds of those that have the money and the power and stop them from warring and creating more hatred and violence on the planet. Instead, feed and shelter the billions that don't have either of those. So that's all that I would like to say today. And I just want to say bless you all. Thank you all.
Thank you.